My name is Emma. I am 17 years old. I live with my mom in a small house. Our house is quiet most days. It was not always like this. Before, it was full of laughter. Before, my dad was here. My dad passed away when I was 14. That day changed everything. I still remember it clearly. I remember the cold air. I remember my mom crying. I remember feeling empty. I felt lost. I felt alone. My dad and I were very close. We did everything together. We watched movies. We cooked dinner. We talked late at night. He understood me. He listened to me. He was my safe place. My mom was there too, but it was different. She loved me, I know that. But she was always busy. She worked a lot. She was often tired. So I spent more time with my dad. He was my person. After he passed away, everything felt wrong. The house felt too big. The nights felt too long. I missed him every day. I still miss him every day. At first, it was just me and my mom. We tried to move on. We tried to live a normal life. But it was not easy. Sometimes we didn't talk much. Sometimes we argued. Sometimes we just stayed quiet. Then, about a year ago, my mom started dating someone. His name is Tom. He is older than her by a few years. He is polite. He has a calm voice. He smiles a lot. At first, I did not know how to feel. I told myself, it's okay. She can be happy. I really tried to think like that. I wanted her to smile again. I wanted her to feel less lonely. But at the same time, I felt strange. I felt uncomfortable. This was not the first time my mom brought someone into our lives. After my dad died, there were a few other men. They came and went. Some stayed for a few months. Some stayed longer. None of them felt right. Each time, I had to meet a new person. Each time, I had to smile and be polite. Each time, I felt tired. I felt confused. I did not want to do it again. So when Tom came, I told myself to be careful. I did not want to get close. I did not want to trust him too much. I kept my distance. At first, things were okay. He did not try to talk to me too much. He gave me space. I liked that. I thought, maybe this will be different. Then, a few months later, he moved into our house. That changed everything again. Now he was always there. In the morning, at dinner, in the evening, every day. I remember when my mom told me. She sat me down at the kitchen table. She looked serious. She said, "Tom is going to live with us." I felt my stomach drop. I did not say anything for a few seconds. Then I asked, "For how long?" She said, "For now, for a long time." I nodded, but inside I felt heavy. I felt nervous. I felt like I was losing something again. First my dad, now my space. I asked her one thing. I said, "Will he try to be my dad?" She quickly said, "No, never. He will not replace your dad. He will not control you. He will not discipline you. I promise." That promise stayed in my mind. I remembered it clearly. I trusted her words. I wanted to believe her. So I tried to accept him. I was polite. I said hello. I said thank you. But I did not open my heart. Not fully. We had a finished basement in our house. It was my favorite place. There was a couch, a TV, and a small table. It felt like my own space. I spent a lot of time there. Sometimes I invited my friends over. We watched movies, we talked, we laughed. Down there, I felt normal again. I felt like a regular teenager. One evening, my friend Lily came over. We were sitting on the couch in the basement. The TV was on, but we were mostly talking. We were laughing about school. We were sharing small stories. It felt nice. It felt simple. I forgot about everything else for a while. After some time, the TV remote stopped working. I pressed the buttons again and again, but nothing happened. I sighed and said, "I think the batteries are dead." Lily looked at me and asked, "Do you have extra batteries?" I shook my head. "I don't know where they are," I said, "and I don't know which kind this remote needs." I could have checked. I know that. I could have opened the back of the remote, but I didn't think about it. It was a small moment, a simple mistake. Lily said, "I can go upstairs and ask your mom." I nodded. "Can you also ask her for batteries?" I said. "Please." She smiled and said, "Sure." She went upstairs. I stayed on the couch. I waited. I felt relaxed. I did not think it was a big deal. It was just batteries, just a small thing. A few minutes later, Lily came back. She had batteries in her hand. "Here," she said. "Your mom gave me these." I smiled. "Thanks," I said. We put the batteries into the remote, and it worked again. The TV turned on. Everything was fine. We continued watching and talking. The night felt normal again. I did not think about it anymore. Not that night, not even the next morning. But I didn't know something small was about to become something big. The next day, everything changed, and I didn't understand why. The next morning felt normal at first. I woke up, got dressed, and went to the kitchen. The sun was coming through the window. The house was quiet. I thought it would be a simple day. I thought nothing was wrong. I sat down at the kitchen table with my breakfast. I had a bowl of cereal and a glass of milk. I was still a little sleepy. I moved my spoon slowly. I looked at my phone. It felt like any other morning. Then Tom walked into the kitchen. He did not say good morning. He did not smile. His face looked serious. His steps were slow and heavy. I felt something change in the air. I felt a little nervous, but I did not know why. He walked up to the table and stood in front of me. I looked up at him. I felt confused. I felt uncomfortable. Without saying anything at first, he put 2 batteries on the table. He placed them right in front of me. The sound was small, but it felt loud. Tap, tap. I looked at the batteries. Then I looked at him. "Why are you giving me these?" I asked. My voice was calm, but inside, I felt unsure. I did not understand what was happening. He crossed his arms and looked at me. His face was tight. His eyes were sharp. "To prove a point," he said. I blinked. "What do you mean?" I asked. Now I felt confused. Very confused. My heart started to beat faster. He let out a small breath, like he was already annoyed. "About last night," he said. "You had your friend go upstairs to ask for batteries." I nodded slowly. "Yeah." "The remote stopped working," I said. He shook his head. "You could have done that yourself," he said. "You didn't need to send your friend." His tone was not kind. It was not soft. It felt hard. It felt sharp. I didn't like it. I tried to explain. "I didn't know where the batteries were," I said. and I didn't know what kind the remote needed. My voice was a little stronger now. I was trying to stay calm, but I felt something growing inside me. I felt annoyed. I felt misunderstood. He looked at me like he did not believe me. That made me feel worse. At that moment, my mom walked into the kitchen. She looked at both of us. "What's going on?" she asked. Tom turned to her. "I'm just talking to Emma about last night," he said. My mom looked at me. "What happened?" she asked. I took a breath. "It's nothing," I said at first. "The remote didn't work, so Lily went upstairs to ask for batteries." My mom nodded, but then she said, "You could have gone yourself." Her voice was not loud, but it still hurt. It felt like she was taking his side. It felt like she didn't understand me. I felt my chest get tight. "I didn't know which batteries to use," I said. My voice was louder now, not shouting, but not calm. The room felt tense. Very tense. Then Tom stepped closer. He was standing right near the table now. I could feel his presence. It made me uncomfortable. "You couldn't open the back and look," he said. "You couldn't check." His voice was stronger now. It had a sharp edge. It felt like he was talking down to me. I froze. I had no words. My mind went blank. I just sat there, holding my spoon, looking at the table. Yes, he was right. I could have checked. I knew that. But it was not about that. It was about how he said it. It was about the way he looked at me. I felt small. I felt angry. I felt hurt. But I said nothing. I stayed silent, completely silent. The kitchen felt heavy. The air felt thick. No one spoke for a few seconds. Then Tom shook his head and walked away. He left the kitchen without another word. I sat there, still not moving. My cereal was in front of me, but I didn't want to eat anymore. I didn't feel hungry. My mom stayed in the room. She looked at me, but she didn't say anything right away. I looked down at the table. I looked at the batteries. I felt my eyes sting a little. I didn't want to cry, but I felt close to it. After a moment, my mom said, "He's just trying to help." That made something inside me snap. "Help?" I said. My voice was shaky now. That didn't feel like help. She sighed. "Emma, it's not a big deal," she said. "You're making it bigger than it is." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Not a big deal? To me, it felt big. It felt very big. It was not about batteries. It was about respect. It was about promises. I pushed my chair back a little. "He shouldn't talk to me like that," I said. My mom crossed her arms. "You should also take responsibility," she said. "You're not a child." That hurt even more. I stood up slowly. My hands were shaking. "I know I'm not a child," I said, "but he's not my dad." The words came out fast, too fast, but they were true. That's how I felt. My mom's face changed. She looked surprised, maybe even hurt. "Emma," she said softly. But I didn't want to talk anymore. I felt too many things at once. Anger, sadness, confusion. "I'm going to my room," I said. I walked away before she could say anything else. My steps were quick. My heart was beating fast. When I got to my room, I closed the door and sat on my bed. I felt overwhelmed. I felt tired. I felt like no one understood me. I thought about what happened in the kitchen, again and again. I replayed every word, every look. Maybe I could have checked the remote. Yes, that was true. But that was not the point. The point was how he spoke to me. The point was how my mom let it happen. She promised me something. She said he would not act like a parent. She said he would not discipline me. But this felt like that. It felt exactly like that. I picked up my phone. My hands were still shaking. I didn't want to go back downstairs. I didn't want to see them again. Not yet. So I decided to text my mom. I opened our chat. I stared at the screen for a few seconds. I didn't know what to write. Then slowly, I started typing. My feelings were strong. My thoughts were messy. But I needed to say something. I needed her to understand. I needed her to remember her promise. I stared at my phone for a long time before I sent the message. My fingers felt slow. My mind felt full. I didn't know the perfect words. I only knew my feelings were strong. Too strong. Finally, I typed, "He was out of line. He shouldn't talk to me like that. He is not my dad. Please do something." I read the message again. It looked harsh. It looked direct. But it was honest. It was how I felt. I pressed send. After that, I just sat on my bed. I held my phone in my hand. I waited for a reply. I watched the screen again and again. Nothing came. 1 minute passed, then 5 minutes, then 10. Still nothing. I felt nervous. I felt worried. I also felt angry. Many feelings at the same time. I didn't like it. I stood up and started walking around my room, back and forth, back and forth. I didn't know what to do with myself. "Maybe she's busy," I said quietly. "Maybe she didn't see it." But deep inside, I felt something else. I felt like she saw it and chose not to answer. That feeling hurt. I sat down again. I looked at the wall. I saw a photo of me and my dad. It was from years ago. We were smiling. We looked happy. I picked up the photo and held it close. "I miss you," I whispered. My eyes filled with tears. I blinked, but they didn't go away. I felt the same old pain, the same empty feeling. "When you were here, things were simple," I said softly. "Things were safe." I took a deep breath and put the photo back. After a while, I looked at my phone again. Still no message. That made me feel worse. I felt ignored. I felt small. I thought about going downstairs to talk face to face, but I didn't want to see Tom. Not now. Maybe not today. So I stayed in my room. An hour passed, then another. The house was quiet, but not peaceful. It felt heavy, like something was waiting, like a storm before rain. Finally, I heard footsteps outside my door. My heart started beating fast again. Was it my mom? I sat up straight. I looked at the door. I waited. But the footsteps passed my room. They went down the hallway. Then they stopped. I felt disappointed. I felt sad again. Why is she ignoring me? I asked myself. I didn't understand. I really didn't understand. I picked up my phone again. This time, I opened the chat and typed another message. I think we should talk, I wrote. This is important. I looked at the message for a moment. Then I sent it. Again, I waited. This time, I got a reply. But it was short. Very short. She wrote, "Not now." Just 2 words. I stared at the screen. My chest felt tight. Not now? When then? Later? Tomorrow? Never? I felt frustration growing inside me. I felt like my voice didn't matter, like my feelings were not important. I threw my phone onto the bed, not hard, but enough to show my anger. "This is not fair," I said out loud. I stood up again. I couldn't sit still. My body felt restless. My mind was loud. I kept thinking about the promise she made. "He will not discipline you." Those words played in my head again and again. But this morning, that's exactly what happened. He talked to me like I did something wrong. He stood over me. He questioned me. He made me feel small. And my mom, she didn't stop him. She didn't say, "That's enough." She didn't protect me. That hurt the most. Not Tom, but her. I sat back down on my bed. This time, I hugged my knees. I stayed like that for a long time. I tried to calm down. I tried to think clearly. "Maybe I was too harsh," I said quietly. Maybe my message was too strong. Maybe my words hurt her. I thought about the sentence again. "He is not my dad." It was true, but maybe it sounded cold. Maybe it sounded angry. I sighed. "I should talk to her calmly," I said. "Yes, that's better." I stood up and walked to the door. I held the handle, but I didn't open it right away. I felt nervous again. What if she was still upset? What if Tom was there? What if they both looked at me like I was the problem? I closed my eyes for a second. I took a deep breath. Then I opened the door. The hallway was quiet. I walked slowly toward the living room. Each step felt heavy. When I got there, I saw them. My mom and Tom were sitting on the couch. The TV was on, but the volume was low. They were not really watching it. They were talking. When I walked in, they both looked at me. The room went silent. I felt all the tension again. It was still there. Nothing had changed. I looked at my mom. "Can we talk?" I asked softly. My voice was calm this time. I tried to sound respectful. I tried to sound mature. She looked at Tom for a second. Then she looked back at me. "Later," she said. Again, that word again. Later. I felt something break inside me. "Why not now?" I asked. My voice was still soft, but it was shaking. She sighed. "Because now is not a good time," she said. I looked at Tom. He didn't say anything. He just sat there, watching. That made me more uncomfortable. "This is about me," I said. "It's about what happened this morning." My mom's face looked tired. "Emma, please," she said. "Not right now." I felt my hands start to shake again. "You always say that," I said. "Later, later, later." My voice was louder now. "When is later?" I asked. "When I stop feeling hurt? When I stop caring?" The words came out fast. I couldn't stop them. My mom stood up. "Lower your voice," she said, but I couldn't. "I just want you to listen to me," I said. Tears filled my eyes again. I hated crying, but I couldn't control it. "I felt disrespected," I said. "I felt like he was acting like my parent." I pointed slightly toward Tom, but I didn't look at him. "You told me he wouldn't do that," I said. "You promised me." The room was silent again. This time, it felt even heavier. My mom looked at me, but she didn't speak right away. And that silence, it scared me, because I didn't know what she would say next. The room stayed quiet for a few seconds. It felt like a long time. I stood there, waiting. My heart was beating fast. My hands were shaking. I felt scared. I felt tired. My mom looked at me, then she looked at Tom. Then she looked back at me again. "I did promise that," she said slowly. Her voice was calm, but not warm. It made me feel nervous. "But," she continued, "that doesn't mean he can't say something when you do something wrong." Those words hit me hard. I felt confused. I felt hurt. "So now he can?" I asked. "Now it's okay?" My voice was not loud this time. It was quiet, but it was full of pain. Tom moved a little on the couch. He looked like he wanted to speak, and then he did. "I wasn't trying to be your dad," he said. "I was just trying to teach you something simple." I finally looked at him. My eyes were wet. My face felt hot. "It didn't feel simple," I said. "It felt harsh." He looked surprised for a moment. Maybe he didn't expect that answer. "I didn't mean to be harsh," he said. "I was just frustrated." I shook my head a little. "But I didn't do something big," I said. "It was just batteries." I paused, then added, "It was a small mistake." My voice broke a little on the word small. Tom sighed. He looked down for a second, then back at me. "Maybe I made it too big," he said. "Maybe I reacted too strongly." That surprised me. I didn't expect him to say that, but my chest still felt heavy. I turned to my mom. "And you," I said softly. "You didn't stop him." She looked at me with tired eyes. "Emma," she said. "I needed you," I continued. "I needed you to say something. I needed you to remember what you told me." Tears started to fall down my face. I didn't stop them this time. "I already lost my dad," I said. "I don't want someone else trying to take his place." The room went very still. My mom's face changed. Her eyes softened. She looked sad now. Tom didn't speak. He stayed quiet. My mom walked a little closer to me. Not too close, just a step. "No one is trying to take your dad's place," she said gently. "But it feels like that," I replied quickly. I wiped my tears with my sleeve. I took a shaky breath. "When he talks to me like that, it feels like he's trying to control me," I said. "And I don't want that." My mom nodded slowly. "I understand," she said. I wasn't sure if she really understood, but I wanted her to. Tom spoke again, but his voice was softer now. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't think about how you would feel." I looked at him. I saw something different in his face. He didn't look angry anymore. He looked unsure. I know I'm not your dad, he added, and I'm not trying to be. I listened, but I still felt careful. I still felt a little closed. I just want us to respect each other, he said. I didn't answer right away. Respect. That word stayed in my mind. After a moment, I said, respect goes both ways. My voice was quiet, but clear. He nodded. You're right, he said. Then my mom spoke again. I think we all made mistakes, she said. You could have checked the batteries, Emma, but Tom could have spoken more kindly, and I should have handled it better. I looked at her. That was the first time she said something like that. It made me feel a little lighter, just a little. I'm sorry I ignored your messages, she added. That was wrong. I took a deep breath. My chest felt less tight now. I'm sorry too, I said. My message was a bit harsh. She gave a small smile. Not a big one, but a real one. That's okay, she said. We stood there for a moment. The air felt different now. Not perfect, but calmer, not heavy, just quiet. I didn't feel completely okay, not yet, but I felt heard, and that mattered. I just need time, I said. Tom nodded. That's fair, he said. My mom stepped closer and gave me a soft hug. I didn't move at first. Then slowly, I hugged her back. It felt strange, but also safe. That night, I went back to my room. I sat on my bed and looked at the photo of me and my dad again. I still miss you, I whispered. But this time, I didn't feel as alone. Things were not perfect. Our home was still changing. Our lives were still changing. But maybe we could learn. Maybe we could try. Maybe we could do better. I lay down and closed my eyes. My mind was quieter now, not silent, but calmer. And that was enough for me. In the end, I learned something important. Small problems can become big problems if we don't talk. Words can hurt, but silence can hurt more. And respect is not just about being right. It is about listening. It is about caring. It is about understanding each other. That is the lesson I will remember.